It's designed by its members for its members. So the best way to get involved in Pro Manchester is to get actively involved. I think you've probably all heard me say, or one of the teams say, that we liken it to a gym. It's one of those that you can sign up to be part of Pro Manchester. We can give you all of this abundance of platforms to help raise your profile, to connect, but actually it's down to you to actively get involved in all of that sort of stuff to really, really reap the benefits of it. We've had a challenging year, as have we all. You know, we have all suffered the effects of COVID in so many different ways. Pro Manchester being predominantly a physical events organisation, pre-COVID days running up to 150 physical events in any 1 year period. COVID was a real sort of shock to the system and a real game changer for us as an organisation. But what I want to assure you today is that, you know, we are still providing the same amount of value, even though we can't physically be back together. Not just yet, anyway. I'm sure, like any of you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this if you want to pop them in the chat for me. Everyone heard the announcements on Monday, which gave us some real reasons for positivity and hope. You know, we've got a roadmap, as they call it. You know, some definite dates now as to when we can start seeing the easing of restrictions, and we can look forward to a time when we can be back in a room together. Because although we've turned everything virtually, we've managed to still provide that value on a virtual platform. We all know well and good that it's just not the same as that face-to-face interaction, being together in a room with each other, and we absolutely can't wait for that date when we can. And at the moment, Nicola and I and the rest of the team behind the scenes are working furiously to work out when we can do that, how we can do that, to make sure you are all secure, COVID secure and safe, but at the same time we are, you know, looking to get us all back physically together, and we can't wait for that. So in the past year, as you all know, you know, we had to switch everything online. Now, that was no bad thing for Pro Manchester, because I've always had the vision that we would do things more online as well. But I've just never had the time or the resource to perhaps maybe make that happen. So COVID forced our hand and allowed us to make that switch, to grab hold of the technology and actually produce all of that stuff online. So in a world going forward, it's only ever a positive for us, in the sense that we can continue to add that value. It removes the barrier of location. So therefore, going forward, we will always do the physical events activity, but we will also be able to do it online as well, which allows us to, like I say, reach a much wider audience of people. So all they need is an internet connection. In the past 12 months, we've done over 120 events a year, albeit online, and attracted over 10,000 delegates. So we are still attracting the audiences, and we're still producing that value with regards to the events perspective. So with regards to making the most of your membership, this is one of the most fundamental and important things about what we do. Yes, there is the attendance of the events. Pro Manchester is absolutely here for the networking, but it's also there for the education, and it's also there for the connections that we can make for you. So I would actively encourage you to keep an eye on our website at all times and the events that we've got coming up, and book yourselves on, get along to those events. You know, and do some networking. I appreciate whilst it's online, it's a bit more difficult, but there are still ways to do it. And I would like to encourage you all to do that as much as possible during today's session. You've got the chat function at the side there. Louise Wilson, she's already gone in and said hello to everybody. Well done, Louise. You know, use that chat function to have a conversation between yourselves. It'd be great for you to connect. Use this event as a connector. You know, go onto LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you know, you can see who is on today's chat in the participants. Go onto LinkedIn with them. Say hi. I saw you at the Pro Manchester event. It'd be good to pick up a conversation. You know, I know it's not the same as us being together and building that relationship that way, but there are still ways to do it. So I would encourage you all to do that. Use the chat function. Use LinkedIn, and do connect with each other as much as possible. Pro Manchester has always offered introductions as well. It's one of the benefits of being a member of Pro Manchester. So, you know, if there are, every member organisation wants to be introduced to other organisations. So if you had a look through our members list, or you saw people at an event that you were attending, please do feel free to get in touch with the team and say, I'd like to be introduced to these people, and we can facilitate some warm, friendly leads for you. Our attendance lists, remember, for every single event, whether it's online or it's physical, is always available online in the event descriptions itself. So you can always have a look who's attending and who's going to be there. If you miss it for any reason and the event's not on the website at that time, feel free to come back to us and say, can I have a copy of the attendance list, and we can share that information with you. Excuse me while I have some water. The other thing is the one thing that I will draw your attention to. You'll notice that Nicola has put into the chat function our survey as well. I mentioned earlier that Pro Manchester is about its members for its members. So we want to make sure that everything that we are doing is absolutely designed for you and is the appropriate for you. So if you wouldn't mind, if you have 5 minutes, it's only a quick survey. It'd be great if you could pop onto SurveyMonkey and fill out that for me, and just to let us know what you're looking for from Pro Manchester. What do you know about Pro Manchester, and how can we continue to improve our service at Pro Manchester? That would be really, really great. So we've talked about the events, now the attendance of the events, but also don't forget that Pro Manchester is an event management company, and we can manage your events for you as well. So if you've got ideas that you would like to put forward, that you think, you know, are imperative to the business community, that you would like to share that intelligence with the business community, come to the Pro Manchester team, talk to us, and we'll organise all of the logistics for that event for you. This is one of the most important benefits of being a member of Pro Manchester. We want all the content is driven by you. We're just the facilitators. We just do the delivery. So we will organise the marketing. We will organise the dates, the logistics, the format, online, offline, physically in a room, a venue if we need to, all of those sorts of things. Get the bums on the seats for you. All you need to do is provide that insightful, interesting content that you can then share with the remainder of the membership. So please do come forward, contact either myself or Sean or Nicola, and if one of us wouldn't mind popping, one of the team wouldn't mind popping our email addresses into the chat function, please come to us with ideas. You are absolutely the drivers of everything that Pro Manchester does, so I would like to actively encourage you all to do that and to get involved in everything. So obviously we've had to change everything quite significantly over the past 12 months, move everything online and deliver it virtually. This is something that is here to stay, as I've already mentioned. But what else have we done? We've been looking at the programme itself as well, and how can we align with what actually is happening in Greater Manchester. I'm going to talk a little bit later on about some of the strategic partnerships that we have, which have only been reinforced and strengthened over the past 12 months. But working alongside Andy Burnham, alongside the GMCA, looking at the Greater Manchester strategy, how do we align with that strategy? So, you know, so we have looked at our sector group programme, and we've actually made some significant changes and some developments in that as well. So just to make you aware of that and draw your attention to our sector group programme. So historically, Pro Manchester is 35 years old, in fact, actually, and it was originally set up to support the financial and professional services sector specifically. We are a much broader, much more diverse organisation than that now. So now we represent a whole host of businesses across sectors, across the whole of the business community in and around Greater Manchester. And that is very much driven by that sector programme that we run. If you pop onto the website, you'll be able to, if you look under the programme section, you'll be able to see all of the various different sectors that we're focusing on. And as I say, that is very much aligned with the Greater Manchester strategy. What are the ambitions, the objectives? What are the strategic priorities for the Greater Manchester region? And each one of those is aligned very nicely with our sector group programme. So whether that's looking across the green economy piece and sustainability, or whether that's looking at technology and innovation, creative and digital media, healthcare, all of those. Now, again, as I said before, everything that Pro Manchester does is steered and governed by its members. So there's a committee of individuals that will come together to discuss the activity of each of those groups. There is opportunities for each and every single one of you to get involved in those committees. If any of those particular sectors are of any interest to you, let me know. I'm running the sector group programme. Come and talk to me about joining a committee and getting involved in that activity. Now, what does a committee look like? It's roughly, you know, we meet every 8 weeks or so. We come together, we talk about the opportunities, the threats, within each of those sectors, and we talk about what activity can we produce that will help support and back that particular sector within the region. We'll then produce events, content, blog posts, etc., whatever is appropriate for that. So you could help be a fundamental part of steering that particular piece of activity. We invite all of the other trade associations that are involved in that sector, the industry itself, to come along to those meetings to make sure that we've got a full, all-rounded committee of individuals and representatives so that we can produce the best activity that we absolutely can for each of those sectors. And like I say, aligning with that Greater Manchester strategy piece as well. Alongside the sector group programme, we have a series of other programmes which may be of interest to members as well. Again, steered and governed by our committees. So we have the Future Pro Manchester programme, and I'm not sure whether any of you on this call today attended the MEMA Awards that we hosted just a couple of weeks ago, but that was over 500 individuals. Obviously we had to do it virtually this year, can't wait to do it physically next year in 2022, but that was a real celebration of the younger talent within the Greater Manchester region. So the Future Pro Manchester programme is all about developing that younger talent. It was actually a real baby of mine, because when I joined Pro Manchester over 15 years ago, that was my contribution to the business. I was there to run that programme. So it's about, again, steered and governed by a committee of people who help to look at how can we support the younger people, people who are fresh out of university, people who are first into their first roles. How do we help them build their network from the very beginning? How do we help build some of those softer skills that perhaps they haven't already developed, such as presentation skills, such as business development skills, networking skills, all of those sorts of things. So that programme is designed specifically for those individuals to help them meet with like-minded people at similar stages within their career, to help them with that development. Again, Sean, who is hopefully on this call today, he's here, he manages that programme, and obviously the big key event for that programme is the Maiden Manchester Awards that happens every February, and that's a real opportunity for you to nominate your colleagues, put them forward for one of the 15 awards that we have available, you know, and give them some recognition for all of their hard work. The other programme that I'm particularly interested to talk to you about today, and again, it's another one that sits under Sean's remit, is our Equality, Diversity and Inclusivity programme. This obviously, it is what it says on the tin, again, steered and governed by a committee that oversees the entire programme, but as a series of subgroups that breaks that down over sort of working parents, over disability, over race and religion, etc., various sort of breaking down some of the facets of that particular group. Again, there's opportunities to be involved in the working groups and also into the committee itself to help steer and govern some of that activity. Again, give Sean or myself or Nicola a shout, and we will we'll talk to you about kind of taking that forward and seeing how we can get you a bit more actively involved. Being involved in the committees is a really, really great way to build some really strong relationships with it's more of an intimate setting, the committee groups and the committee meetings, so you can help build really strong relationships with your fellow committee members, which you can then take outside of the meetings, hopefully. Bear with me 2 seconds. It's good to see that there's lots of chat happening here. This is fantastic, lots of sharing of LinkedIn. Is anybody wanting to come onto the screen? And maybe I haven't seen any reactions yet, but if I do see anyone, you know, you're very welcome to come in and join the conversation. It doesn't all have to be driven entirely by me and my voice. Do feel free to let me know. Give us a wave and I'll bring you in. Okay, we've talked about the events, we've talked about us organising your events, the events management side, and we've talked about introductions, and we've talked about getting involved in some of the committees. One of the other committees that I haven't mentioned actually, which again is another one that I'd like to encourage people to get involved into, is the skills agenda, is our skills programme. That is very much looking at the skills issues within and around the Greater Manchester region, how we can look at tackling skills gaps, how we can work with the combined authority, the councils, etc., on helping to give everybody the opportunity to be in work and helping businesses to support them from a talent perspective. So working with all of the education institutions. Again, to find out a little bit more, contact Sean, he'll be able to help you with anything like that. The one thing that I've not mentioned yet is our Speak Club programme. So whereas the Pro Manchester membership, I say, is quite a diverse programme, this is dedicated towards the SME community in and around Greater Manchester, so they're small to medium-sized businesses across sector. Now, this started as an online community. It was purely, you did not need to be a member of Pro Manchester, it was completely free to join, but it was a business development tool for members of Pro Manchester, so only members of Pro Manchester could provide the content for that. And that was given out in two different forms. It was either in a top 10 tips or an Ask the Experts piece. So there's opportunities to provide the content for the SME Club if you are a member of Pro Manchester, to either write top 10 tips on an area of your expertise, or if you wanted to do an Ask the Experts piece, absolutely, we'd be welcoming those as well. Now that goes round to a database of around 12,000 individuals and businesses in and around the Greater Manchester region that are not necessarily members of Pro Manchester, they've just signed up because they want that free support and advice. It's there to help them with their development and their growth. But only, as I say, it's completely restricted to members of Pro Manchester to be able to provide any of that content. So please do get in touch with us. Come to Nicola. Hopefully, I think we're going to pop those email addresses into the chat function. Talk to Nicola or myself, anything about the SME Club content, and we will send that out to those databases for you. We'll help schedule that in for when it can go out, and we will send it out for you. That leads me quite nicely onto the other online content that we do, because about events. We are a lot about events, and we can't wait, again, like I say, to get back to physically being able to do that. But yes, we also have the opportunities for you to do a whole host of things that are just online. We have our blog section on our website. We actively encourage all of our members to send us blogs. Now, they could be sector related, so we can tag them into the sector activity. They could be quite generic in advice. They could, you know, a whole host of things, whatever you feel appropriate to you and your business and what you're doing. Please send them through, and we will incorporate them onto the website, into the blog posts. We can feature them onto our newsletters. Our newsletters go out. We have one that goes out on a Monday morning. That goes to all registered users, so that's members of Pro Manchester, but that's also anybody who is interested in our, I don't know whether you can all hear, but typically somebody is blowing leaves next door, so I'm going to have to talk a little bit louder. Apologies for that. That goes out to our registered users database, so that's the wider than the Pro Manchester membership. And then on a Wednesday, Sean sends out our members' mailings as well. So we can feature those blog posts, we can feature any of your news, anything that's happening with you as a business, any PR, marketing. Add us to your PR distribution list. So when you're sending things out to press, send them to Pro Manchester. We can put them on our newsroom site, we can put them on our newsletters, and we can give you the profile that way. So that's another great way for you to do it. So please do feel free to send us your blogs. Also new for 2020, 2021, you'll now see on the website, if you have a little look across the navigation at the top, we started to introduce reports into our portfolio. So there's an insights tab there. You will see that last year we launched the Equality and Diversity in the Workplace reports. That one's at the top there, but there's also a host of other reports that we've worked on. The Corporate Finance report, which we released just last month, and also at our Corporate Finance Lunch, which looks at the deals that have happened over the past 12 months, what's been happening in the corporate finance community over the past 12 months. There's a great report on that. We've also done some buddying up with some of our GM partners, and again, I wanted to talk to you about this because this is important. So on there is the Financing Innovation report, where I worked alongside the Northwest Business Leadership team quite carefully on producing that report, which really delved deeper into what were the barriers to supporting innovation, what were the barriers to funding innovation, and what does the Northwest region as a whole, so not just Manchester. I worked alongside some of our other counterparts across the Northwest region on how we can perhaps tackle some of the barriers to helping funding those innovative projects and getting things off the ground and into the market. So that's a really interesting one for you to have a look at, and please do. Now, there's opportunities to sponsor and get involved in some of this report, in some of the report works that we produce. Again, that's an opportunity. Come to me, my email address is now in the chat function, as I've seen. If you want to talk to me about commissioning a report, or if you want to talk about reports perhaps that I'm already kind of working on, please come and have a chat to me about it. It's something that you want to get involved in. If you want to be the thought leader, if you want to be pushing a particular agenda item, then come to me, have a chat with me, and we'll see what we can do to work that through. Finally, the other thing that I wanted to mention, I've talked about the addition of the sector groups. We've got the innovation sector group, which is in its initial stages at the moment. I'm talking to a couple of key partners on the launch of that. There is room for committee members to come forward. If you'd like to find out a little bit more about that, come and talk to me. I'm also looking at, and I think we can see members, businesses have never been more interested in public affairs since Brexit, really, but even more so, this has accelerated over the past 12 months. So, and we are now launching, or we will be due to launch, a new sector group which will be focusing specifically on the public affairs agenda, making sure we're keeping businesses as up to date as they need to be on all of the changes and policy making decisions that are coming forward. So if you want to get involved in anything along those lines, please come and have a chat to me and I can get you involved in that. Finally, so the other one that we introduced earlier on this year is COVID has had a huge impact on people's mental health and well-being. It's made us really reassess what is good for us, looking at our work-life balances, looking at how do we manage stress, how do we manage isolation, how do we manage all of these things. It's put us through the ringer, to say the least. So we've also launched the Pro Manchester Health Hub. Again, under the programmes, if you scroll down, you'll be able to see the Health Hub there. That is an opportunity to it's a signposting exercise, but it's also an opportunity for you to get involved if you would like to share some knowledge within that Health Hub. If you're not sure how to support your staff, or if you need some individual independent support, there's some links in there which can offer you some of that advice and support and where to go to get some help. Like I say, I'm very much encouraging members, if you have anything to share within that realm, within that space, please send it over to me and we can incorporate it into our Health Hub and help support the business community and the individuals in and around Greater Manchester. Raji, I've seen that you've popped a question. Sorry, I've been talking too much that I've not paid as much attention to the questions and answers. Perhaps, Raji, would you like to come and maybe ask that question yourself? Come through. It would be nice to hear someone else's voice just for a moment. Is she with us? No? Maybe not. Okay, maybe not. Oh, I can see you there, but you're on mute.
Can you hear me?
There we go. There she is. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Yeah. So my question is on ask the expert. So is it a Q&A session type thing? So is it online, or do participants ask questions on some specific subject? You say beforehand, this is my kind of area of expertise. You ask the question and then you answer. Or how does it work?
Ask the experts it's all content driven, so it's not a Q&A session. It's basically a little bit like the form of a blog post where you will impart some advice on a particular topic. So it's a bit like a blog post. So you would choose a particular theme and then offer some advice on that.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it's not. Does it take a format? Do we have to follow a specific format? Like
yeah. We can send you a template which will then give you how to sort of lay that out, so we can pop that into the templates for you. That's no problem at all.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Does anybody else want to come forward?
Hi Sam, I'll say something.
Brilliant, thank you, Rachel.
It's hard doing a monologue. It's great to hear from you. So just for everybody else that might not have seen me before, I'm Rachel Kenyon. I work at the university and I'm part of their business engagement and knowledge exchange team. So that kind of says what it is on the tin. And we help the non-academic community connect with our academic researchers. And I've put a link to the website, the Collaborate bit of the website in the chat. But you might go to that and think, well, I'm not AstraZeneca or Unilever, so is this really relevant to me? But it absolutely is. And we do engagement with all sizes of business and all sectors. It's not all about the engineers and the life scientists. I cover the Faculty of Humanities, so that includes the business school, law, social sciences, all those disciplines that have got quite a lot of interesting expertise to offer. Just this week, I've asked Pro Manchester, as Sam said, they often share in the newsletter opportunities that might be of interest to members. So I've shared this week that currently our MSc marketing students are looking for projects, applied business projects. So while what we do in our team is really mostly about connecting with senior academics on big projects, there's also those opportunities that don't cost anything, that you'll get postgraduate and postdoctoral researchers to deliver things for free for you. And so we're kind of the front door to the university, our team. So if you are interested to find out about these opportunities, keep an eye out or get in touch with me. I'll put my email address. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Rachel. You see, and that's how to do it. That's how to do some networking online and coming involved. I am quite conscious that we are kind of time. We did only have half an hour for this session, but we have got some more sessions coming forward with regards to sort of Pro Manchester membership. So I will, we will let you know the details of those, and then hopefully you will be able to get involved. The only thing I wanted to touch on a little bit more, just quickly before everybody does go, is it was about that GM connections. Just to know that the past 12 months has been really, really good for Pro Manchester with regards to really working very closely with the Greater Manchester Combined Authority, working alongside Andy Burnham and also the Northwest Business Leadership Team, the Chamber, the FSB, the CBI. We are on bi-weekly calls at the moment to make sure that we're absolutely providing businesses with the most amount of support we can to get through these difficult times. And we all know that, well, we're all hopeful that there's some more positivity on the horizon, and we'll continue to do that. But not only do we work locally and around Greater Manchester, but also I'm working very, very closely with Professional Liverpool. We have a new programme that will be coming out of activity that we're working alongside them. And I'm also the Deputy Chair for the City UK, which is the trade association organisation for the financial professional services across the whole of the nation. So I'm working with the chair of the city, the regional chair, which is Andy Westbrook from Deloitte, on a series of activity that we're going to be doing with them as well. So we can talk we can talk about things on a more of a national scale as well. I'm conscious that I am completely running out of time. We are looking at our AGM for Pro Manchester is coming up at the end of March, 25th of March. We will be looking for nominations for board members. So something maybe to consider if you do want to get more involved in Pro Manchester. You could literally sit on the board alongside me and Nicola and help steer and govern some of the activity and keep us in check and make sure we're doing all of the right things. So maybe think about that. There will be some more information released about that soon. Please do fill out the Survey Monkey. Let us know what you think, what you would like to see us doing, so that we can shape a programme that is completely suited to you. And as I say, if anything, I've talked about anything today that you're particularly interested in, please do drop me an email, Sean, Nicola. We're all here to support you and absolutely help you with your business development activity. I think that's it from me. So it's lovely to see you all. Thank you so much for tuning in, and do drop me an email and I'd love to talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.